Hey everyone, I'd like to show you how we can use Shopia to do something like competitor research, right? So we all know the process of doing that, where you'd need to go through multiple Google searches, you'd need to go through different pages and do all that stuff. So we'd like to show you one aspect of it, which is like finding competitors and maybe starting that process. So that's what we'll do in this example. So let's start off by building a template. And we need to kind of think ahead of what we're trying to do. So how we like to do things, and of course, everyone's workflow is a little bit different, and that's why you have the flexibility to change it however you want. But what I'd like to do is to do like a quick Google search of, let's say for this example, we're trying to do, to find the best ChatGPT alternatives, okay? So I'm going to start with doing a web search, and we have different data sources, but for this example, we just want to use Google. And let's say we want to find best ChatGPT alternatives. And let's do a quick search just to see how the output looks. Okay, so this returns a few results. Now we can actually change this if we wanted to, and we can change the format of the output to show the description, just the title and the URL. We can also change the results. So this gives me better visibility, so I can just kind of skim through the results. But let me do this search one more time. Okay, so it's returned a bit more results. I can see the pages it's recommending. That's all good. Okay, so if I were to go through this process how I normally would without Shopia, I would need to go through each page and maybe look at some of the examples and alternatives to ChatGPT that is mentioned on those pages. But instead, I want to kind of automate this process, right? So the more time-consuming part of it is building the workflow, but once you've done that, then things become a lot quicker. Okay, so I have these links. I want to be able to look into them, right? So to do that, let me add a step, and this allows me to create my workflow. So I'm just going to do competitor research. This is the research phase. Once we're done with research, we can do analysis. We'll have a different video more going in depth into each competitor and all that stuff. But for this type of tutorial, we're doing the research part. We're doing the research part. So let's just save this, and we get this action here. So as I mentioned, we want to look through these pages. So let's click on scrape page or video. And here we have two inputs. We can add the URL, and we can add the or describe the action we want to perform on that URL. And if you've seen any of our tutorials, we mentioned this syntax where you can link the output into the input. One way to access this is through this plus here, and you can add the output from here. But I'm going to use a more special syntax specifically because we have each output on a separate line. Each link on a separate line. So what I'm going to do is step_1. And what it's saying here is, and you use the square bracket to say that you're referring to another output. But here I'm saying I want the output of step 1. Okay, so this is 1, this is 2. And I'm going to add a comma to say I want you to do additional processing on that output. So I'm going to say split by, and what this is saying is I want you to split this output by something. So in this case, I'm going to split by line because each link is on a separate line. Okay. And it's going to take a while to run all of these. So I'm going to run just the top, let's say the top 10. So I can do 1 to 10, and then close this bracket to say, okay, this is the output that I want. Now, I need to say what action I want to do on these links. So I'm going to be a little bit descriptive here and say, okay, so I'm going to say the following is a page from the query best ChatGPT alternatives. Summarize and list the best alternatives in this page. So I want to run this action on each link I have here up to result 10. So let's run this. And I have this on fast mode because this type of processing, I don't necessarily need the highest quality output. I just want to get results as quickly as possible. Okay, so it's taken a couple of minutes, but it's now generated a response. And as you can see, it's listing out all the different features, all the different alternatives. It's slightly different formats because it's running the same thing on multiple different pages. We can also expand this to view this a little bit better, but this is good, right? Let me just close this for a second. But this is in all kinds of different formats and structures. So I might want to have this in just one neat structure. So let's add another step here. And let's just use a custom prompt for this. And we want to organize this in a way. So we can say, okay, so what I wrote here is the following are results from several web pages on the topic best ChatGPT alternatives. And then I've used the syntax again, step_2. So here we're referring to the output in step 2. And then what we've said is organize these into a list and description, if available, to highlight the best ChatGPT alternatives. So we can maybe just add best ChatGPT alternatives, just so it writes it just below. And then we can maybe change this into quality mode just for the final cleanup, and then click generate. Okay, so very nice. So it's organized my notes for me into different categories. So we have writing and content creation, coding and development, alternative, interesting, comprehensive list of alternatives. So we've got a lot to work with here. And of course, this is on the first go. I can always tweak this to say, I want you to do this more specifically or that. Maybe I don't want certain categories. You have the full flexibility here. And the nice thing is I have this ready to go. So this has done my research for me. I have a good list of potential competitors, let's say, that I can look into without needing to go through all the different pages here. And of course, these are in all kinds of different formats. So we have Reddit, we have the page itself, we have like comparison websites. And the nice thing is I have this saved. So if I'm, let's say, searching for a different topic, let's say not ChatGPT alternatives, I'm looking for, let's say, a CRM system, all I need to do is just adjust some of these prompts and just click run. And then I have this process done for me. I hope this has been helpful, and stay tuned for even more examples. And if you have things you want to build, be sure to mention them on either in the comments or in the Facebook community, and we'll be happily trying to build them ourselves.